when you sat in the pub, you get drunk and you have a really stupid, crazy idea, and like the next morning you wake up and go, well, they'd carry it through.
My lords, ladies and gentlemen, tonight the KLF Reenactment Society, Bali chapter, are honoured to present A World of Chaos, Magic, and the band who burned £1 million. After the movie, we are proud to announce that we will be joined by the Right Honourable Ambassador from Mumuland, one of the justified ancients of Mumu, who will be able to answer any questions raised by watching this documentary. So sit back, lie down on the floor and keep calm.
23rd and 23rd page.
They're justified and they're ancient, and they like to roam the land. Just roll from the top. They're justified and they're ancient. I hope you understand. They called me up in Tennessee. They said, Tammy, stand by the jams. But if you don't like what they're going to do, better not stop them, 'cause they're coming through. Bring the beat back. Just roll from the top. They're justified and they're ancient. I hope you understand. They called me up in Tennessee. They said, Tammy, stand by the jams. But if you don't like what they're going to do, better not stop them, 'cause they're coming through.
They were very smart, creative guys. They cleaned up. They were the biggest fucking pop band at that time.
It was hundreds of thousands of pounds being paid out to the KLF on a monthly basis.
As a member of the KLF Reenactment Society, you are entitled to recreate, reposition, destroy or destruct the work of the KLF, or recreate, reposition, destroy or destruct the work of fellow members of the KLF Reenactment Society. These entitlements can be reinterpreted in whatever way you feel the need to be.
The 23rd word on every 23rd page. 23rd word on every 23rd page. 23rd word on every 23rd page.
Some people in Britain are convinced that UFOs are causing strange new patterns on English farmland.
Some of these crop circles were the work of an underground dance band, the KLF, who've pulled a string of bizarre media stunts which have had everyone scratching their heads.
The idea was to spread so much chaos and confusion that nobody would know what on earth was true.
So where did the idea come from?
Bill.
Big brooms, put a plank across the bottom of the broom, tape it all up, and the whole thing got completely out of hand in our heads. And when they asked us, well, did you do it? I had to say, well, I don't know.
KLF is gonna rock you.
So we never set out at all to be this global, international, multi-successful dance, pop, crossover, whatever it was. That was never part of the game plan.
KLF is gonna rock you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the KLF has now left the building. Okay, everybody. everybody, lie down on the floor and keep calm.
This is what KLF is about.
This is KLF. Take that.
Britain's brand new #1 is the KLF.
They made records that people really loved then. And those records, they had character at a time when people making music didn't have character. They were just like DJs or studio engineers. And these two guys had a tremendous amount of character and ability to project it.
This is what KLF is about. Also known as the justified ancients of Mumu. Furthermore known as a jam.
You would be selling 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 copies of singles then, a week.
$6 million singles and 2 million albums in the end.
The biggest selling singles band in the world this year is the KLF.
They were a big band, despite themselves.
They set up an art foundation, the K Foundation, which in itself is intrinsically odd because I can't think of any other band that splits up but continues to work together.
We had been going to do this exhibition called Money, a Major Body of Cash. That money was the foundation.
It's to do with controlling the money, because money tends to sort of control you if you've got it. It kind of dictates what you have to do with it, and we just wanted to be in control of it.
I thought they were doing something quite interesting, but I didn't know what it was. It involved large amounts of money on picture frames, a reserve price of half their financial value. I think one of them was like £250,000 with a reserve price of £125,000.
When they couldn't get a gallery, they just held an exhibition by a motorway service station and invited a bunch of press out there, and they had armoured vehicles, big Ks on them patrolling, blaring out ABBA, and a couple of burly security guards, all the journalists who would be trying to steal a few notes.
A lot of people were in the NME office with money from that.
They quickly became slightly toxic in people's heads. They'd gone wrong.
Everybody was starting to get more cynical about what we were doing. So we just became outsiders immediately and riled up all the wrong people.
Lords, ladies and gentlemen, I start from the proposition that the artist is the most important member of society for the good and simple reason that at its best, art is the highest achievement of which the human spirit is capable. Winner of the Turner Prize is Rachel Whiteread.
Just before being picked as Best Artist of the Year with a cheque for £20,000, Rachel Whiteread learnt that she had also been singled out as Worst Artist of the Year in an alternative award funded to the tune of 40 grand by the K Foundation in a concerted campaign to discredit the whole basis of the Turner Prize.
We weren't giving it to her because she was a struggling artist. We gave it to her because people had voted her as the worst artist in the country that year.
The £40,000 prize money was nailed to a picture frame and chained to the Tate Gallery.
We phoned her up and said, look, if you don't accept it, we're going to burn it.
I was basically blackmailed by the K Foundation to take the money, otherwise I would be letting £40,000 be burnt.
And she didn't come. And they were sort of fumbling around with matches and they were about to do it. And then she turned up.
What I decided to do was to say that I would accept the money, and then I had a statement prepared to say that I was immediately going to give the money away again.
They'd wasted $1 million on the White Room film.
It was never released?
Never released, never properly finished.
It was a financial disaster. They were broke, they were hungry, they didn't really know what it was they were supposed to be doing next. But the world caught up with them. Suddenly, their time had come.
acid house parties came on the scene in the summer of 1988. At first attracting hundreds, now 10,000 can gather to dance all night.
When rave started coming and started taking ecstasy, they realised there was a new home for them.
And it was the type of music that was really exciting me. We wanted to make something that was more pure dance music, without any reference points, without any nod to the history of rock and roll.
It was probably the best intro record you would ever hear in your life. Paul Oakenfold used to play that at the Heaven Club in the early days. That would be the first record he would start with. The lasers would go up, the smoke would go up, the sound would go louder. Then What Time Is Love would come on.
What time is love? What time is love? What time is love? What time is love?
Trying to get into a rave that was trying to be shut down by the cops, all the whole excitement of it all. I mean, we did have quite a lot of equipment that we try and get into these places. Half the time you can never get the band in, let alone get yourselves in. It always starts off with the best intentions, an attempt to play live. Samplers all ready to go, sequences. Nobody was looking at the stage. Still at that point where people were just sort of dancing around. Focus wasn't on the groove, it was on the music. It was just on the moment. It just worked in that moment.
Officially it stood for nothing. They would say a different thing every time. Copyright Liberation Front, Kings of Low Frequencies. It's in the tradition of Discordians, they kept changing their names.
KLF is gonna rock you up.
Early on decided to not do any more interviews or have anything to do with the outside world. Just cut ourselves off completely. And not say anything to anybody about anything. And that worked in our favour because it made people even more interested.
On the destination board, it just said destination, further. There was all these people, there were journalists, music journalists basically from all over the world. And we sort of gradually realised that we'd all been invited. I'd been a production assistant on Steve Wright in the Afternoon. The band basically got in touch with the show. To say, be at Heathrow Airport this Saturday.
Did you have any inkling of where you're going?
No idea. No idea. And you have your passport, so you go, we're probably going abroad.
And we were put on this little plane and we were flown to Isla. Had no idea where we were, where I was, anything at all.
Got a ferry over to Jura. Then when we arrived in Jura, I think there was Bill and Jimmy.
Wearing military uniforms. And we all had to hand over our passports, which was stamped with the KLF logo.
They stamped my passport. I've still got it. It stopped me getting into America early.
They had these 4 Japanese girls dressed in see-through white nighties, wafting into the sea. They burnt a wicker man.
Did this whole state pagan ceremony. Now, he was up on a platform, dressed with his form. Did this whole speech in a foreign language he just made up. Totally brilliant. Everybody was completely gobsmacked. Those are the sort of things that we like to do to communicate to the outside world.
Basically, Midsummer Night Rave.
A lot of people dancing for a long time, for whatever reason.
It was a Quality Street tin full of ecstasy being handed round, and no one had a clue what it was. That was nice.
There's a room at the back with loud dance music and strobe lighting. White light. And you're in that room and you go, aha, this is the white room.
The KLF Reenactment Society, Bali chapter, invite you to join us in the White Room on the 23rd of August 2024, exactly 30 years to the day at the KLF earn £1 million. On the day, a select group of VIPs will be taken by helicopter to a secret location somewhere in Bali on a journey to the lost continent of Mu. The preparations have commenced. Please talk to the Right Honourable Ambassador from Mumuland after this movie if you would like an invitation. The KLF would like to point out that any resemblance to persons living or dead or incidents portrayed in the following reenactment are purely fictitious. The rumour that this production was banned from the Ubud Writers and Readers Festival on the basis that it portrays a religious sect is however true.
We have to trust them, but we are filled with doubt. What are they preparing us for? And why? We all wait in line.
On a good...
We all smile, still thinking it must be some sort of joke. The border guard, or whoever it was, takes our alcohol and then pushes us aside, speaking in some sort of language we can't understand. He even tries to take our cameras. The lost continent of man. It really exists. I now accept the mystery, and my mind empties of clutter, and for the first time, I am filled with clarity and peace. Something bonds our newfound unity and means everything at this moment. Mercy, as the ritual music gets more intense. Why? As the doubt creeps back in. I remember the four handmaidens of evil. Who, what, where, and what is it? To answer my fears, the four angels of Mu rise from the sea. Rise from the sea to protect us.
They just couldn't handle the music industry anymore. It was just the enemy. They just wanted to destroy it. They just wanted to stop it. They just wanted to negate it.
In 1992, disaster struck. The British music industry, with the Brit Awards, nominated them for Best Band. And in true KLF fashion, they weren't going to give people what they wanted. They were going to give them what they would never forget.
The KLF phoned me up and says they want us to use us as musicians. It's Hammersmith Odeon. I'd never been there before. The stage was bigger than most venues I've played.
From London's Hammersmith Odeon, the British record industry presents The Brits 1992.
The first time ever on The Brits. After thousands of votes had been cast, we have an exact tie and two winners. Congratulations, Simply Red and the KLF.
The music industry was saying, you're the best band can possibly be. You're as good as Simply Red. That's hard to deal with, I think.
And how did they deal with it?
Badly.
I've always had this rock star fantasy ever since I was young. That I'd had this massive guitar solo. Been rehearsing it, because
Hammersmith Odeon, I'm going to do my guitar solo like that. So I come up to the front of the stage and go, wow. The lead gets pulled out of my guitar. I've only got 20 seconds to do the solo. I'll spend the whole time trying to find the end of the lead to plug back in. That was the last thing I ever did in the music business, really. Trying to get my guitar plugged back in. What a lost opportunity that was. It was a brilliant solo.
But they didn't tell me things like they got all the pyrotechnics right behind me. Almost caught fire.
Bill was wearing this big long leather overcoat which has some association with Bormann and Nazi.
I get a machine gun, smuggle that in, I machine gun the audience with blanks, and then just walk away and just go, fuck you. And that was our exit from the music business.
They didn't go and collect their Brit Award, they just sent a motorcycle courier to collect it on stage.
We drove to a little airstrip where we'd hired a plane. Jimmy and I knew we were going. Jim Reed knew.
And we flew up to Scotland. It was a sort of cowshed. There was no light for miles around. I don't think they were filled with dread about what they were doing to their future or their children's future. I think in the moment, it was something they probably quite enjoyed doing. I was shocked. After you get over the kind of initial, they're burning all this money, it's a bit boring.
I initially doubted whether or not it was legal tender. So I took the money to a bank in Beaumont on Islay, and they immediately confirmed that it was genuine. And we agreed there was no criminal offence. The legislation at that time allowed only for an offence whereby you might deface or stamp or place ink upon a note. It doesn't cover the possibility that someone might burn or destroy money, because, quite frankly, the legislative authorities wouldn't think that that would be likely.
They said to me, you can write about this if you want, but you don't have to. Obviously, I did want to write about it. I thought this is a pretty incredible event. I wrote the story, it was in the Observer, it wasn't even front page. And that was it. It had very, very little pickup in the rest of the media.
It wasn't the reaction they were expecting. How do you react to it? No one knows how to react to it. It's much easier just to turn the page and think about something else.
And when we showed the film, all people wanted to know was, did you really do it? It didn't matter how much we attempted to prove that this was for real. The ones that didn't want to believe would not believe, and the ones that wanted to believe would want to believe. And the other thing everybody wanted to know was why.
Why did you burn it?
Why did you do it?
I just want to know why you did it. You know, that's what's there. That's why we're here.
Everybody wants to know why you did it. You can't tell them why you did it because you don't know why you did it.
Most people would be saying, why didn't you give it to charity, you bastards? What they mean is, why didn't you give it to me?
I think it's disgusting that people should be allowed to do such a thing with so much poor in this country and in the foreign countries.
Us burning that money doesn't mean there's any less loaves of bread in the world, any less apples, any less anything. The only thing that's less is a pile of paper.
I really do like to see a movie where every penny of the budget is visible up there on the screen. They committed this act which undermines the concept of money. It doesn't even matter whether people have thought about it or understood it. That event has happened and things will be different afterwards.
To be able to do the mapping, so people will be able to say, right, okay, well, we'll fit these in these KLF images with a portrait file and using it.
What is 23? The human body consists of 46 chromosomes, 23 from each parent.
And now some highlights from the recent KLF Reenactment Society party at Virgin Beach, Bali. If you would like to support our artists, please make a donation as you're leaving.